Hi, everyone. Welcome today to DC Conversations. In conversation with us is the lovely Alia Sen. Hi, Alia. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So, Alia, what? Let's talk about your very incredible journey since 2004 till now. It's been a very interesting journey. I was reading about you, and I was just wondering, like, how has she done this? How has she gone from that to this all along? So, you've had, what inspired your transition from advertising to filming, like filmmaking? How did that happen?
So, you know what? I think it wasn't really planned, to be very honest. But however, if you know a little bit of my background, which is studied in an art school, and in my growing up years, just from being from a Bong family, music, dance, these are like mandates, sort of a thing. So, these are things that really shape you up. And though I started in advertising, I trained. I worked under Pradeep Sarkar. So advertising was a very planned thing from for me, and I guess when I transitioned to films, it was more about a personal journey, which is I would say that advertising is also an art where you kind of learn to tell a story in 30 seconds, and it's a very rare art, I would say. So it kind of builds you up for your eye for detail, your skill set, storytelling, everything. However, features, you probably would know that I like to make what I write. It's a more personalized journey, which I kind of evolved into, that I want to tell my stories. And yes, I guess it just came from there after a decade of. But however, I haven't, it's not like advertising is out of my way. I'm very much into it. But yes, as a maker, I'm totally.
First love always stays. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you share some insights on your directorial approach in Dil Jungli and Trial Period and how you see your filmmaking style evolving?
Okay, so Pallavi, I have now I was kind of training on my own first feature. So I had never been on a feature set where I assisted, or I had never assisted a writer before I wrote mine. And I would say my first film was a more approach of an experimental or an experiential kind of a journey. I give a lot of importance to my journey, to be honest. Yes, I have a producer side in me, which I can't stop. But yeah, what happened is that after my first film, when I went for the second, I think I gave myself few steps back into just the technical part of it, and I started more involving myself in the emotional part of it. Now, I don't know if this is a unique experience for most makers or not, but I do feel almost like I'm an entity on my set itself, when I'm making features. So, henceforth, when I say that for me it is the journey, I mean not just in the technical part of making film, but it is a journey of my own, how I feel, and I really emote when I make my films.
Okay. So, how do you balance your creative freedom with commercial viability in your films, considering your experience working on both indie and mainstream projects?
So, I think, Pallavi, that the commercial viability of a feature, and of course, the times are changing rapidly from between my first film and where we are now. I would say that pre-COVID and post, in some ways, the industry, the mechanism, everything has changed quite a bit, right? Uh, to create the commercial part of it, honestly, comes from your actors, right? In a project that decides your budget, that decides what will be the scale of your film. So I feel that I kind of have worked on um, balancing both, in the sense that I have to know that I don't want to make a film and just be alone sitting in a living room watching it. So I have to have the potential of attracting audience, and there has to be a target. But if you ask me when I write, I do not have a face in my mind. It is only when I wear a director's hat is when I start visualizing, and then I say, okay, maybe it's not a 58-year-old woman, maybe it is this actress, and so I need to kind of make few changes in that. So the commercial aspect of it, I understand, is really important when you kind of land a project. However, perhaps I was a little lucky with trial period that it got signed during COVID, and I just thought of having the actors that I want, that I see, and it just is. Few things are magical, so you can't put it in words how it happened, what happened. I just knew I want Manav and I want Janelia, and I just sent the script, and it happened eventually.
The universe works in mysterious ways.
Yes.
It does. It does. Okay. What was the experience like working with actors like Tapsi in Dil Jungli and Janelia in Trial Period? And how do you approach collaborations with your cast?
See, for me, actors are very important because you can imagine something, but to translate and take it to a 10x version of what you have written or imagined is what your actors do on screen. So, if you ask me particularly my actresses like Tapsi and Janelia, I've just been lucky. They were just fabulous. They're fabulous because they understand what I want as an emotion, what I'm trying to convey. So the first one was more like a girl space and like a more fun romance and those kind of stuff. And the second is a more mature love story of a single mother. Um, and also other actors, like whether it was Gajraji in trial period, all my actors, I feel that it is important to collaborate at a level that they can transform your script into a better film. So my approach is that this is what it is, and now just go into it, become the person, and yeah, let's do this together, sort of a thing.
It gives a lot of creative freedom and space for people to move around, right? That's an amazing approach, I think. I mean, even to you and even to the person you're working with, it just gives you that kind of freedom and space to, go ahead, explore, and be you. It's amazing.
You know what, Pallavi? I think because, like, I would use this statement here, which is ignorance is blissful, because maybe am not particularly where I came from a Bollywood background.
Yeah.
Started with advertising. So my understanding of making a film was never that, okay, this, if you have this face, then your film becomes this crore kind of a thing. So I don't know if it is a good, bad thing or whatever, or if it works for everyone. But in my case, I would say that it was just translation of your vision into a film. That has been my priority. And I guess when you ask me that how do you collaborate with your actors, it is literally surrendering to them as a maker that, okay, this is my vision, and my creative freedom in that sense is met when they come into the picture.
Yeah. Beautiful. Um,
It is
how
not burdened to, I'm not then burdened to make it, to make it happen. Then it is them. They have to do it.
and they might not be you but the beauty is to collaborate in that beautiful way and bring out something so beautiful for us to watch. So I think that's the harmony that's you brought onto the set. I'm sure everybody would watch for that. Okay, so tell me, Alia, how did your role as a creative producer differ from your work on projects, like other projects that you've done, and what did you learn from all the experiences you've had? What is the one learning you take away when, like right now? I know you have a very long journey like ahead of you, but what have you learned so far?
um, Learning is like doesn't stop. But yeah, to talk about projects where I have been a creative producer or producer for that matter, like say Badayo or Last Stories, is where I have felt, and henceforth, like moving forward, there are projects that I don't see myself that I would ever write or make, which is like serial killer kind of stuff. But I love watching that, right? So, or a ghost story. Now, those are things as a creative producer I can do. I perhaps will not like to make it as a director. So the creative director designation helps me to be part of projects that I have an a more open kind of a feeling about it. That okay, this is fun for me to watch, and henceforth I would like to be a project, part of it. So I guess with love stories and Badhayo both. mm, it is not really being part of a technical team as such, but it is also how to mount or how to be, aware of other creative aspects of marketing of film, for instance, or what are the creative ways that you can approach your audience. So this is my learning as a creative producer, I would say, which I don't have that side of me when I'm directing. I like somebody else to take that call when
Right. Yeah. Okay. What can we expect from your upcoming projects, and how do you see your career evolving in the next few years as a filmmaker?
so interestingly, because I'm someone who likes to do a lot of things, I'm sure you've gauged it by now. So I kind of have already done like a young romance film. I've done a mature love story. um, I love working on, personally, I love writing and I love working on relationship based things. My understanding of especially relationships of from a perspective of a woman, whether it's a mother, whether it's a girlfriend, whether it is, you play a teacher. So I have kind of, I enjoy that. So the next that I'm kind of working on is a very interesting story of a mother and daughter, and of like a 60-year-old mother and a 30-year-old daughter. And yeah, it's a suspense go through that sort of thing.
I mean, so much fun being you. I mean, you write, you direct, you produce. It's like, you understand everything of everything, and then you pick and choose what you wish to do for that point in time. It's amazing. It's hats off to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so difficult to even think. Like, I'm trying to think from that time. Like, how did she manage this, and then how is she managing this, and how do you just cut off completely from being a producer to being just a director? And it must have been so challenging.
So the first thing is that I consider myself to be a writer because I'm a diary person since very young age. So if I'm angry with you, then I'll write. If I'm happy, I'll write. So I have this thing of writing, you can say, and I guess that is where it stemmed out. The long format writing came from there, and next, like writing direction comes together in a way. And like I said in my initial part of the about my advertising part, that I haven't let go, like, so I can't let go of it. It has to be there also. uh, I actually typically work, I think like a Capricorn. So yeah, so I need that also in I have started a unit which is called Minikin. Then there is a content hub that I run, which is about just getting a lot of writers to come and write on it, share work, creating a community sort of thing. So it's like a 360-degree for me. I guess when I say about journey, it is not that just one thing of going into a room and writing. In fact, I have a thing of writing with three, four writers together. I create my first nucleus of an idea, like a first draft sort of thing. And then I like to sit with people who probably have completely different, like, say, for instance, if I kind of trial period when I was doing. Now, I'm from a particular background in Delhi, South Delhi, where I'm brought up. I would not know what a guy from MP is. And I really would not understand the nuances and how they feel and what is their thinking process. I know Delhi guys, right? But so to get a writer on board, which was Akshay, who kind of brought in the uh, Ujjain's flavor. How that guy would react to a situation where he's asked to be a father on rent. So I love these kind of things, and I'm not very insecure about कि मेरा idea है कुछ बदल जाएगा तो कुछ और बन जाएगा sort of thing. I like to explore those aspects of it. So yeah, going back to doing so many things is also because my mind kind of works at multiple dimensions.
So, okay, this is a very personal question. Is Manav Kaul really that dreamy as he looks on screen?
Totally.
He is, no?
Totally not. Actually. No, I think he's fabulous. If you just sit with him, and in fact, my first meeting with him was when he walked into office, and I felt that he is the guy who I'm written about. And as I started to know him better, that is how beautifully he can transform himself. Now that was a coincidence that he has grown up in MP, and he is a swimming champion or something. And so those kind of things are there, but that is how beautifully he can convince you that he's the character to be. And yeah, he's very well read. I kind of, when I talk to him, I also bounce a lot of my ideas with him. So, but otherwise, dreamy, yes, I'm sure he is, because he's just like this crazy lady fan following.
I'm telling you, and I would fight one to the tooth for him. Where he's so he has this very interesting Instagram page where he's always reading out little experts from books he's reading at that point in time, and it's so much fun watching him. So I'm really looking forward to watching him in Dil Janga.
Yeah, he's so romantic with his books, I guess.
I know, right? Then just he brings a certain amount of romance to even very serious roles. I'm sure he brings that to trial period as well.
He is, I think it's also very he gets into the character and he believes in that thing. I have only worked on trial period with him, but say for instance, I kind of noticed that when he will come to me and he will discuss things to understand what has happened in the pre and what is in the post. Now, that is when a actor is really, well, I'm sure there are a lot of actors, who really get into the skin, and this needs to be encouraged more. Like I really like it. I like actors who surrender themselves, but having said that, it is a different ballgame when you're working with an actor who gets into the skin and is ready to even debate with you with what you have written. So yeah, in fact, even Gajraj is like that. He will
He's just
bring his
lovely.
note.
He's so cute. He's just so cute. You just can't stop loving that man. He's so cute. What about
On trial.
Ditya?
Sorry, yeah.
I'm so sorry. Please, you were saying?
I'm saying on trial period, fortunately, if you see the entire bouquet of actors that I had were all like supreme actors, whether it was Shiba, whether it is Shakti ji, everybody had like Junelia.
Yeah.
I mean, not sir at all.
How's she to work with?
She's amazing. She's so emotional and so real that sometimes I would wonder if am I like, are we talking professionally about doing a particular scene, or because what happens that firstly, of course, it was a single mother's role, so motherhood comes very naturally to her. I had auditioned a couple of actors for advertising work for mother, so I know that when you don't have that natural warmth, it shows on screen. So it's something that I was very aware of. So the first time when I met her, like I said, she was my first choice. When I met her, she was the warmth was very natural. That how to hold a child. Now these things you cannot teach. You can, as in, you can discuss lines, you can discuss emotions, but you cannot teach how to hold a child when he's
Yeah.
in distress. So those things just came very naturally to her.
Yeah.
And likewise,
So,
uh, in the film, he's not a married man and he's never had kids. So likewise, in him, it was. the natural progression of wanting to be, attached to a child was also, I guess, natural. Like he learned it over the film.
Really looking forward to the film. Best of luck for the project and the future projects. Thank you so much for talking to us, Alia.
I really enjoyed talking to you.
Bye.
Bye.